Hi there and welcome to the show. Now, maintaining a balanced and healthy lifestyle means you've got to get yourself into the gym. Yes, the gym, the place where people go to exercise, a place where some people are allergic to, but some people are addicted to. Now, if you've made a New Year's resolution and are still in the gym by the 22nd of January, then well done, keep it up. But I'm assuming, like the most of us, you've pretty much given up. And that's why there are personal trainers out there to help motivate and inspire you to keep going, to go that extra mile, to help realize your goals and aspirations. More and more youth actually are heading to the gym as a means to channel their energy into keeping their bodies fit and, let's face it, chasing gains and looking good. Now, one of those youths is Yaseen Hafidh. I've known Yaseen from a very, very young age. I used to watch him and my younger brother play football. I kid you not, when they were about probably 11 or 12 years old. So I've known him for a very long time and I've seen his progression. He's actually online known as Sino Fitness, who's been into fitness and bodybuilding from a very, very young age. And delighted to have him on the show. Yaseen, assalamu alaikum.
Assalam. Thank you for having me on the show.
That's absolutely fine, mashallah. You've grown up to be a very immaculate man, mashallah, Yaseen. How's it going? How's things in Bradford, by the way? I know you were supposed to be back in London yesterday, but the storm and all of that, hopefully it's not too bad.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, everything's good. So I was on my way to London and then we realized the storm was, too powerful. So we just turned back and had to stay here for another day. So
no, that's okay. That's okay. I wish the intention was to get you into the studio so that me and you can share some fitness tips. Not that I can share any tips with you. More, I wanted you to share some tips with me and also the audience. But maybe, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we can get you back in, make some space, and get you doing your calisthenics, whatever you want to call it. But we'll talk about calisthenics later. Yaseen, what inspired you to pursue a career in fitness coaching, especially at such a young age? How did you get started on this journey?
So when I first started calisthenics, I was just on my way home. And I was passing by a park and I just saw so many people just training together. And I was like, you know what? Let me just try and see what's going on. So I went to the park. There were many guys training together and they showed me how to do certain exercises. So my backstory is like when I was younger, I used to do gymnastics up until about 11 years old. And I stopped. So when I stopped gymnastics, I went about 8 years not doing anything. So when I saw the bars and the people training, it reminded me of like the old days when I used to do gymnastics. So when I was there, I started going every day. So 7 days a week, I was training 3 hours a day, which is not actually ideal for muscle building. It's not actually ideal for muscle building or skill based. But I started improving, and many people started asking me for tips because I became of a certain level of skill. So it's kind of like coaching came to me. People wanted me to coach them and show them how to do certain exercises, how to gain strength, and yeah, that's how I got into coaching.
So before we get into calisthenics, yeah?
Yeah.
Calisthenics. Now, before we get to calisthenics, is there a big difference between kind of normal gym goers and people who just want to build? Do you know what? Let's get into calisthenics now, and we'll talk about your journey into kind of personal training later. Describe to me what calisthenics is.
So essentially, what calisthenics is someone that uses, it's a strength training exercises that utilizes someone's body weight as resistance, and this can be done with or no equipment at all. So basically, all exercises of calisthenics, they're all compound movements where you're using more than one like joints. So let's say if I'm doing pull-ups, I'm going to be working out my core, my biceps, my lats. So it's multiple muscle groups working together.
So it's not the use of weights. It's the use of your own body weight to train.
Yeah. So your own body weight basically is the resistance that you're training. So
anyone could do this at home then?
Yeah, of course.
pretty much. So things like, again, I mean, I haven't been to the gym for quite a while, but things like, what, pull-ups, I don't know what they call
Yeah, so
push-ups, blah,
so
blah, blah.
there's there's a lot of like progression exercises. So let's say if
Uh-huh.
you wanted to learn how to do a muscle up, which is usually the first skill that people do want to learn when they start calisthenics. So the progression would be pull-ups, then explosive pull-ups. So there's so many variants of exercises that you can use and utilize to learn new skills. So to start off with, it would be learning the basics of push-ups, pull-ups, dips, um, hollow body hollow body holds, V-sits. There's just so many that you
There's so
can
many,
get
yeah.
into.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I've seen videos of you online, and I haven't actually seen, I guess, any particular weights. So, what if someone is, you know, quite thin and they wanted to get into calisthenics? Does it still work like that? Do you have to have a lot of body weight essentially, or no?
No, you can. So it depends on what the person's goal is. Is your goal to gain muscle? Is your goal to lose weight? So let's
Yeah,
say let's use the example of someone being skinny or slim. Um, what they want to do is essentially bulk up. So to start off with calisthenics, they'll be using their own body weight, and they need
yeah.
a high calorie. They need to be in a calorie surplus diet for them to gain weight. After they reach a certain level, their body weight is, that they're too strong for their body weight, and they're not able to put like progressive overload. So what that means is they might need to start adding weight on whilst doing pull-ups, and that way they'll
Ah.
continue to keep that progressive overload and get bigger if they wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, moving on to more kind of like your personal journey. So you said people started asking you questions about, you know, what to do here and what to do here. So certain tips that they asked you. So what made you think, let me make this a bit more into a professional kind of business?
So they usually say with your business you should follow in with your passions. So
Yeah,
my passion is within calisthenics and fitness, so I thought, why not monetize off something that you're good at?
yeah.
So the more people started asking me about fitness tips and exercises to do, I started making programs for free to family, friends, and they saw a lot of progress through that. I took a few friends into the gym, and a few of them I taught them how to do a backflip from scratch, and they told me like, why don't you actually start charging to offer these services for people and try and improve people's lives? So I went down this route because it genuinely, when you make someone achieve their goals, it gives you a certain level of satisfaction and happiness.
So you said backflip. Is that like your party trick? So whenever you're with a lot of people, is that something that you would just do? Is that a party trick that everyone asks you to do?
Yeah, I try not to, but people push for it in
Yeah.
weddings and wherever it is where there's
In
kids.
weddings. Yeah. So
Yeah.
look, you mentioned certain client, friends of yours that you want them to achieve their goals. Can you tell us about a particular rewarding success story with one of your clients, and maybe touch upon some of the strategies that you employed to help them achieve their fitness goals?
Yeah, so one of my clients had a body type called skinny fat. So they'd have like skinny arms, skinny legs, and they'd have a bit of a belly. So we went from this level, and the diet that he used was a calorie maintenance but high protein intake. So we went from that, and he transformed into being, bulky and lean at the same time. He had a lot of muscle mass and he was lean. So this success story, yeah.
No, no, I was
What
going to
was
say, yeah, the
you?
success.
So this success story was probably by far the best because he went from being, depressed, didn't want to work out, with no routine, with zero discipline in the gym, to becoming almost a gym fanatic, almost as much as I am. So yeah.
And that for you was quite rewarding to see the progression from someone who's. So how much does mental strength then play a part in your exercises?
So to start off with the gym, it takes a lot of mental strength. So sometimes, let's say, if someone wanted to get into the gym and they say to me, how do I stay on? How do I stay consistent? You shouldn't think like that. Why not try and outsource the accountability? So essentially what you do is you outsource this willpower to someone else, which is a coach. So even I've got a coach, Ali, and it's not because I'm not competent enough to create these programs. It's because I want someone to hold me accountable for things. So I need to send my coach videos every time I have a session. So it's impossible for me to miss a day. And if I do miss a day, he'll stop coaching me. So what you need to do is outsource that accountability, outsource that programming, because you won't sit there and waste time creating a program, researching how to do certain exercises, researching what diet to have. So what you'll be doing is buying yourself time. So people say, oh, I never have time, but you can actually buy yourself time through outsourcing these frivolous things, let's say.
Yeah. So walk us through a typical program. I know it's dependent on an individual, but
Yeah.
let's just take the guy, the success story that you had. Take us through his routine, his program.
So with him, he started off on a 3-day full body workout. So what I try and do within that program is add, let's say, 2 different exercises. You need to hit each muscle group twice in that week, let's say, for optimum muscle growth. So 3 days a week, he'd do 2 chest exercises a week. So I always put dips and pull-ups, and I focus on calisthenics skills. And I add a few resistance training as accessories, like with like dumbbells. He'll do like curls or skull crushes for the triceps. But he'd start off using banded exercises, for example, banded dips, banded pull-ups, and a lot of core focused exercises like plank, weighted planks, hollow body holds, push-ups. And if someone wasn't able to do any of these, he'd work on the eccentric, like eccentric chin-ups. So he'd start from the top and come down slowly. And that way you're building that muscle resistance, strengthening your muscles so that you can do the exercises within the future.
So Yaseen, what if someone was to come and say, those typical gym goers who are very weight-based training as opposed to calisthenics, what would you say? What's the advantages and disadvantages of calisthenics compared to weight training?
So there's a few advantages of calisthenics and there's a few advantages of weight training. So weight training, what it does is it can get you bigger quicker. So if your goal isn't to be really strong and be able to do skills and you just want to get big, I'd say weight training is the best thing for you. If you're trying to learn skills and be stronger, calisthenics is better for you, because calisthenics, there's a whole world to different skills. There's different varieties compared to just lifting the weights and then pushing it. So essentially it depends on what your goals are. Let's say calisthenics, if someone stopped doing calisthenics for about a year and he wanted to get back into it, his muscle memory would be more powerful than a gym goer, a normal average like weightlifter. So it does depend on what your goals are, and it's best suited for, which exercise you want to do.
Okay. Yaseen, don't go anywhere. We're just going to take a very, very small break. After that, we're going to talk about social media and, a bit more social media presence, inshallah. So stay tuned.
No worries.
Welcome back to Morning Barakah. If you've just joined us, you've missed the first part of a very intriguing conversation that I'm having with Yaseen Hafidh. I think it's Yaseen Hafidh or Hafidh. We'll find out from Yaseen. Essentially, his name is Sino Fitness Online. Personally, I've known him from a young age. He was definitely into gymnastics, being able to do somersaults and backflips and all of that. But now he's channeled that passion of his to calisthenics, the use of your own body weight as a resistance when it comes to training and developing your fitness and your body. I think I got that right. Yaseen, you still on the line?
Yes, that was perfect.
Did I get that right? Yes,
Perfect
okay,
definition.
brilliant. Yaseen, we talked a lot about, I guess, your personal journey before the break. Now I want to talk about more the impact of social media. So things like Instagram and YouTube. How do you use that to connect to your audience?
So Instagram was essentially used for me to showcase my skills, and then for everyone to see and connect with others who are like-minded. And from that, I'm able to monetize, my coaching, my fitness plans, stuff like that. So at the moment, I'm in the stage where I've got a editor, and he will be editing a backlog of videos of mine, and we'll be posting it soon on all forms of social media.
Okay. That hasn't started yet, the videos you mentioned.
No, so I've got a backlog that he'll be editing and he'll release it. So at the moment, I do have videos on across all platforms of TikTok, Instagram, and yeah. So
Do you
at the
see,
moment, we're just in
do
a
you think,
development stage.
do you think it helps?
100%. I think basically, utilizing social media is extremely important in today's age. For
Yeah.
example, any businesses that use social media, you're able to um, like gain a greater audience. You're able to showcase your
Yeah.
business to a much larger audience.
Did you study any of this, Yaseen? The business
No, but
side
I
of
have a
things.
few friends. Uh, it depends which, like, marketing side.
Yeah, the marketing side.
The marketing side, no. But I do have friends that have done marketing. I've looked into like SEO and PPC, but it's
Uh-huh.
not really taken too much account into fitness.
Yeah, I get
Like
it. I
you
get
can't
it.
really use that as much in social media.
But calisthenics, you've studied.
Yes,
Okay.
severely and
Oh, really?
thoroughly.
So walk us through that course then. How was that? Was it a lot of
So,
theory as well as the practical side of it?
so to be honest, learning calisthenics through reading is it's not that possible. So to
Yeah.
learn calisthenics, you have to actually go through the experiences, go
Mm-hmm.
through the injuries, understand the mechanisms of the exercises, and yeah, it's basically through you gain knowledge through the experience. So
Okay.
in my case, I trained with the world champions of calisthenics, went to training camps in Switzerland, in Germany, and France. So all of this experience has allowed me to nurture my skills in calisthenics.
Did you take did you take on any competitions when it comes to calisthenics?
Yes, I competed last year in the UK.
Okay.
I came fourth, but I was injured. So this year, inshallah, I'll be first
When is it this year?
in June.
Okay, and you're training towards that as well.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, fantastic, fantastic, cool. So now, I'm moving on. I guess in terms of tips for people on a daily basis that say don't have that much time. I mean, time is always an excuse, right? I think you would be the first person to tell me there's always time that you can make if you're dedicated and focused on working on fitness. But are there any tips that you can recommend
Um,
for people to do at home?
Definitely. I would say if you can't get yourself a personal trainer, you can look at home workouts. For example, if you want to start, I'd say start off with Insanity. If you can dedicate 30 days of doing Insanity, I think it's an hour workout or half an hour workout. Get started like that. So if you can do that for 30 days, then join a gym
Yeah.
and get yourself a personal trainer.
Before gym and
So
before gym and personal trainer, what is
yeah.
insanity?
So Insanity is essentially it's body weight workouts and it works on your core. They're workouts you can find online, and it helps you get started into fitness.
But it sounds scary, Yasin. It doesn't
It
sound like
it
something I
does
want to take
sound
part in.
no, it's definitely for beginners. So you won't have to worry about it being too difficult or
Yeah.
too strenuous. So
But
Insanity it's like a start off, and they've got beginners workout programs for yourselves.
why is it called insanity? It's just the way it's called.
I think it's because you're just you're breaking that side and you're becoming insane. I don't know, becoming insane over fitness.
No, I get it. I get it. So look, moving on to a kind of personal business perspective. It is a very scary world. I would say freelancing, finding your own clients. What tips would you give to youngsters out there who want to get into fitness and personal training as a coach, as a career, sorry, in the future?
So I would say personal branding is the most important aspect of,
People have to trust you.
freelancing. Or
People have to trust
exactly.
you as a person who's an expert in their field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're using, like, you're coaching people to become the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
So you can't sit there and say, for example, you need to go to the gym 5 times a week. You can't miss any sessions. Your diet has to be on point, and you're not doing it yourself. So you have to be a person that speaks from experience, and you're actually doing what you're instructing people to do. You don't want to be a hypocrite in the field that you're working at. So you need to be the best version of yourself for you to then start coaching people.
Is there something
And
that
once you
triggered
have
this? So,
that triggered me coaching people.
this better version of yourself. I like that. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Definitely. So I've been on a self-development journey for the last 2 years, I'd say, where, in this day and age, people start to waste their time too much on social media, or they're happy with just being average. Like, why do you just want to be average? You need to be the best person that you can be for your family, for your friends, for your future like kids, your wife. So that I've been obsessed with just trying to better myself every day. If you're not improving yourself 1% per day, then what are you actually doing? What are your priorities in life?
Yeah,
So
but if you take it a step back, Yaseen, what triggered it to make you think, you know what, I need to change this?
I actually, I actually don't know. It's something that comes within. It's not something that may trigger it. It could be, you're seeing other people being successful, and you ask yourself, why am I not trying to be successful? So maybe that's the trigger point. Asking yourself, sitting down, reflecting, and really obsessing over what do you want to be, what do you want to achieve in life, and from that it ripple effects.
So Sino Fitness, what's the future for Sino? Actually, before that, I was just thinking, do you have any activities for the local kind of Islamic community? What's the plans for your community engagement?
So
If
I
there is any
got
plans.
involved with the Imam Ali camp, where I was teaching the kids how to do a few skills and exercises on the trampoline.
Yeah?
So within that aspect, I think it was in Khou'i when I did this,
Yeah.
in the sports hall. So I'd love to be more involved within the community and hosting classes like this, maybe a calisthenics class, once a month, or stuff like this. So inshallah, we'll be able to get the community involved in it as well.
Right. So tell us about how people can get in touch with you then.
So you can get in touch with me through Instagram. Just search my name, Cino Fitness, Cino Fitness, and just shoot me a DM, and we can get started with your personal training and coaching.
Perfect. Inshallah, your journey to London is safe. I saw the weather today; it shouldn't be too bad. So hopefully you can jump in a car and get to London safe. But Sino Fitness, Yaseen, Hafidh, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Absolutely fine. Brilliant. So that was Yaseen Hafidh. Actually, he's right. There are things that may trigger you into a personal change, and there are things that you may see. So I may look at other people who are successful in their fields and think, what am I missing? What do I have? I think in Arabic it's like, "Ana shnaqisni," basically. What limitations do I have that I can't reach that kind of level? I have a brain, I have limbs, I have eyes, I have physically I have everything that I need. It's just that mental willpower that I need to be obsessed with becoming successful in my field. You can relate that to religion when it comes to you being obsessed with the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, obsessed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or you can make this an obsession with your personal lives and your career. So Yaseen, thank you very much for, once again, your time on this. Up.